You might not still have a good intuition what these complex pairs are, but basically this is like a frequency, and you can always define the period of rotation, which is 2 pi over omega. So this is one period. When you're doing your simulations, you will not be sitting in a complex space, you'll be sitting in real space. So whenever you have a complex pair, you will care about a real and imaginary part of the eigenvectors. So whenever you have lambda I plus 1, two successive eigenvalues in your list of the same magnitude, being e to the time times mu plus I omega minus I omega. Along with them, your mathematics or something will spew out two complex eigenvectors. And what you want to do with these complex eigenvectors, the ith and the next one, which is just the complex conjugate of the I plus 1, is a complex conjugate of this guy, this vector. You want to replace them by the real part of E I and two real part, imaginary part of eigenvectors. So you get a pair of vectors. So what they will define on your trajectory, they'll define a plane. This will be the real and this will be imaginary. So whenever you have a complex behavior, that means that there is a plane associated with it, spanned by two eigenvectors, and in that plane, depending on the size, for example, if this is larger, this is positive, then what will happen is that if you start in any neighboring point to the trajectory, this time that neighboring point will go around. And when you write this explicitly, you just see it has a rotation matrix. They're just sines and cosines, two-dimensional rotation matrix. And the time t will come back to the same eigendirection, depending on the size of this thing. It'll either spiral in or spiral out or move on a circle, three generic motions. So complex eigenvalues just have this meaning that when you do perturbation, response is oscillatory. The thing behaves like either overdamped oscillator, which means it just shrinks exponentially, or underdamped, which means it shrinks as an in-spiral, or the thing is a good oscillator, it just oscillates forever. That means it's marginal, or it explodes. These complex guys are nothing special, they're just important part of the story.